Hello student. Today I will explain to you one of the web application that is available in Lab3 about the web controls. The web application title is eCard generator. We would like to develop this application, web application, by using the web controls that we have discussed in Lab3. So the user will be able to select some options from the left side of the web page, and then the greeting card will be generated at the right side of the web page. So I will show you today how to develop or design this web application and then write the C# to run this web application. So we'll start with the Visual Studio 2010. As usual, we have to start a new website. We'll go to the file, new, then we select website. For sure, the language that we use is Visual C# and the template is ASP.NET empty website. I am not going to change the location of the website except the name of the website. I will make it eCard, let us call it eCard generator. This is the name of the web application that or the website that we will design. So now here we have it, eCard generator, and still now it's empty. We have to add a web form into the website we created just now. So we have to go to the website menu, we select add a new item. Again, the language we have to make sure is Visual C#. The item that we will add is a web form, and I'm going to change the name of the web form without changing the extension, which is ASPX. So the web form will be called greeting card. This is the name of the web form that we will add into the website. Also, we have to make sure that the place code in separate file is already selected, and we click on the add button. Okay, now we have the ASP.x file for the design, and if we click on the triangle symbol, we will find that the C# file is already there. Today we will depend on the web controls provided in the toolbox at the left side of the Visual Studio. We will not depend on the HTML code as we did in the first web application we developed. Today we will depend on the design. Now the whole design, it will be designed, we could say, inside the div HTML, which is a content container. So the whole design will be inside the div that we can find here. So I will click inside this rectangle on the page. Then I will start designing the page. So I will type choose background color, then I press enter. So here we have we will give the possibility to the user to select a color. Because of that, we are going to use a drop down list menu here from the web from the toolbox. So just drag and drop on the page. Now two things we will do with this web control, which is drop down list. We will change its properties, for example the ID, width, height of the drop down list, and then we will add items into the drop down list. Now to change the properties of this web control, so here the ID, we will make it list, let us say by color. I'm going to change the width of this web control to be 194 and the height to be 22. This is only the properties that I need to change for this drop down list. Now we will add items into the drop down list, initialize it with items to be, which is the colors that we want to add into the drop down list. Now I click on this small button. Then from this menu we select the command edit items. So here this window will of course allow me to add items into the drop down list. I click on the add button, and here in the text property I will write the name of the colors that I want to add into the drop down list. So I press enter, then I click add again. So the second color I will want to use red color, then I click add, and the green color add, then I write the fourth color, which is blue, then I press enter, then the last color we will add, it's yellow. Now, okay, so it's enough for us, these colors to be used with this web application. Then I click OK. Now I click after the drop down list that we added just now. I press enter 2 times, then I will type choose a font, press enter. I will add another drop down list from the toolbox. Here we can find the drop down list. Again, I'm going to change the ID to LST, then we call it the font name, because here this drop down list will be used to of course will be used to select font that will be used with the greeting card. So we change the ID. We will change the width property to be 194, and the height will make it 22. Again, we will add items. We click on this small button at the right side of the drop down list, then we select the command edit items. Now 4 font names will be added into this drop down list. I click add. The first one is Times New Roman, press enter, then I click on the add button again. So the second font we will use is Arial. We have to make sure the spelling of the font names and color are correct. Then the third font name we will use Verdana, for example, and the last one Tahoma. Okay, I think I'm satisfied with these font names to be used with the greeting card. I click OK. Now it's done. I press enter after the drop down list 2 times. Then I will write specify numeric font size. That will of course allow the user to specify the size of the font that will be displayed on the greeting card. For here, we are not going to use drop down list. We will use text box. You can find it here on the toolbox. So I drag and drop just below the text line. I need to change the ID. ID is very important here because it will be used with the C# code to access to the web controls on the web page by using the C# code. So I will call it txt font size. I will change only the width of the text box to be 194. Now after that, we press enter 2 times after the text box. Then we will type choose border style. Now the web control, we will use it here, the radio button list. Then the user can select one of the border style to be used with the greeting card. So here we can find the radio button list. So drag and drop radio button list into the web form. Again, I'm going to change the ID of the radio button to list border. I will change the width for the radio button list to 177 and the height to 59. Now I will add items into the radio button. Into the radio button list. Yes. So I click on this button, then I select the command edit items. Now the first item, the text, it will be none, but I'm going to change only for the first item the selected property from false to a true. Then this item, it will be selected by default just when we run the web application on the browser, as we will see later when we run the page. Now I will add another item. Let us use this style for the border, double press enter. Then the third item, solid. Now I think I'm satisfied with these three styles, none or double or solid. I click OK. Now after the drop down list, I press enter 2 times. Then we will add checkbox. As you can find here with this web application, we are going to use different web controls. So here we have used a drop down list, here we have used text box, and now we have used radio button list. After this we will use checkbox. As you can find here, we can find this web control checkbox. So it's a good opportunity for us to understand how to use all of these controls in one application, web application. So I would drag and drop the checkbox into the page, and then I will check the ID, change the ID to check. This one, it will be used for the picture, default picture, so I will call it check picture. Now we need to change the text value for the checkbox. I will call it add the default picture. Now also add the default picture. Okay, so that's it. This is for the checkbox, that the properties that we need to change. Then after that I press enter 2 times after the checkbox. Then we will type enter the greeting text below. So regarding the greeting text, we will use text box. We will change its ID into txt greeting. We will change the width of this text box to 240, and the height as we decided before to be 85. Now we will change one property here again. It's called text mode. Here under text mode we have 3 values. Here we have different values we can find here. Now anyway, we will change it to multi-line. That will allow the user to enter multi-lines into the text box. As we can find here, the scroll bar will be added into the into the text box. So we have selected this property, multi-line, from the text mode property. We have more options there. If you want to use the text box as a password text field, in this case we can select password, and we have other options that we will talk about it later with different web application. But for us today, we will use this property value, which is multi-line, to allow to the user to enter multi-lines into the text box. Now at the end, we will press enter 2 times, and we will add a button. Here we can find the button on the toolbox. So we will change the properties of the button to be command update. The text value, we will call it update. We can change the width if you want for the button. For example, we make it 71 and the height 24. Okay, we finish from the design at the left side of the page. But if we look at the design, as we can find here, there is a background yellow, light yellow color for the left side of the design. So how can we do that? So in this case, we have to change the style of the div that we put all the controls, the web controls, inside the div. So I click inside the design, anywhere on the design. So we can find here the div tab will be displayed at the top left corner of the design of the page. So click on the div to select the div. Now we can change the style properties for the div, which is the content container, as we said. Now I click on the style on the properties window, then I click on the style button to open the style builder. So I will do some change on the div. So the first thing, we will change the font family to Verdana. So I select Verdana. The font size will make it X small. Then we'll move to another category, which is the background. I will select background color, the light yellow. Then we move to the border category. So the border we use solid, and the border width is thin, and the border color I will use black. Another category, box. So we will use padding value 20 pixel. As we said, padding is the space between the content and the border. So we want to add this space for the between the controls. We have it inside the div and the div itself, the border of the div itself. So 20 pixel is enough for the padding. Then we will move to the position to change the width of the div and the height for the div. Now for the width we'll make it 293, and for the height we will use the value 486. I think we finished from the changing the style properties for the div. Then I click on the OK button. So look, now we have this design for this web application. Now we can save our work. I click on the Save All button. Then we can test our page. I click OK on this message. So we can find here the result that we get it. So here for the choose a background color, we have 5 colors that we defined with this drop down list. Now for the choose a font, we have 4 fonts. Now because none item is its selected property is true, so we can find by default is selected, but I can select different of course border styles from this radio button list. We can add picture if you want, and type the greeting text that we want to be displayed on the greeting card, and here the size of the font that will be displayed on the greeting card after we click on the update button. But till now we didn't design the right side of the page. That of course will be the generated greeting card. So I close the browser, I stop the debugging, then I will start designing the right side, this right side for the eCard generator web application. Now I click outside the div at the bottom of the page. As we can find here, body is already selected here. That's mean I'm working on the outside the div. Now I will use panel. Panel is also a container for the controls that we can use it, same as the div, which is the HTML tag. Now I will add panel. Now this is the panel added, this rectangle added into the page. We will change the ID of the panel to PNL card. We will change the width of the panel to 339, height of the panel to 486, and also there is a property, it's called horizontal align. So here we will make it center. Horizontal align, of course, this one will be used to get or sets the horizontal alignment of the contents within the panel. So if I want to display the contents within the panel at the left side, then from the horizontal align I can select left, or if I want it at the right. But for us, we want to display the contents inside the panel at the center of the panel, as we can find here on the slide. Now everything will be on the center of the panel. Because of that, I selected center for the property that is called horizontal align. Now one more thing we have to do with the panel. As we can find here, the panel is at the bottom of the page, below this panel or this div. So how to move the panel at the right side of the page? Now we have to make sure the panel is selected. Just click on the label of the panel. Then we can go to the format menu, set position, and we select absolute. Now with absolute, I'm free to move the panel or any control actually to anywhere on the page. So I click on the panel label, then as you can find here, I'm able to move the panel to the left side of the design. So I will resize the panel a little bit. Then that's it. This is what I'm looking for. Then after that, I click inside the panel. We need only to add label and image inside the panel. So I press enter. Then I will add label that will display the text that will be written here in this text box. So add label in this position. We will change the ID of the label to be LBL greeting. We will change the width of the label to 256, for example. The height for the label will make it 150. Now I will delete the value of the text field for the label. So it's confirmed now. The label is already there on the top of the greeting card or of the panel. Now after the label, I will press enter 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then in this position, I will insert image. So we can find image web control on the toolbox. So drag and drop in this position. Now again, for the image, we will change the ID to image default. I will change the width of the image to 212, the height of the image to 160. 160. Now also there is a property here, it's called image URL, to select the image that will be displayed on the image control here on the panel. Now I have image, it's called default picture. Now I will copy the image and I will put it inside the folder. Actually here, let me open I will go to the desktop. Then we have Visual Studio 2010 websites. Now here in my website I will find the eCard generator. This is the folder. And I will paste the image that I want to use with the eCard generator. It's called default picture.png. So this is the picture that we will use for the greeting card. I close that. Then I will back to this property image URL. Then I select the image that just now I added into my folder. Or just simply you can type the name of the image, which is default picture.png, and as you can find here, the image is already displayed to there. Now one more property we will do, the visible property will make, now it says true, but we don't want when we run the application the image to be displayed. This is up to the user, select to add the image or not. Because of that, in the beginning we want to hide this image. Because of that, the value of the visible property, we will change it to false. Now that's it. This is for the properties of the image that we change it, the ID, width, height, and we specify the image that we will use, the default image. This is the image, and we change the visible property to false. So we will save our work. Then when we run our application, so we can find we can find here till now if we click update, nothing will happen because we have to write C# inside the update button to generate the greeting card by using this web application. Now we will the last step for this web application is to write the C# code. So I will double click on the update button and we will write our code here inside the command update _ click. But before that, we need to add a library that of course we needed to use some classes inside the C# code. So I will add this library using system.drawing. Only this namespace or library we need to import into our web application. So done. Now this library is imported, or this namespace, then I can start writing my C# code inside the command update underscore click method. Now the first thing we will do, we want to get the color value from the drop down list and display it and use it with the background color for the panel. Because of that, I will use the panel name, panel card dot, the property we'll use is back color, because I want to change the background color of the panel. Now from where I'm going to get the color name, I will get it from the drop down list that is called list back color. But before that, we need to create a color structure from the specified name or predefined color in the drop down list. Because of that, I will use this method, which is called color dot from name. As I said just now, this method will be used to create a color structure from a specified name or a predefined color. So the specified name that we will get it from the drop down list. Now if we didn't define or import this library, then Visual Studio will give you error about using this method that is called color.from name. Because of that, we import in this library system.drawing. Now if we want to get the value, the selected color from the drop down list, we have to write the name or the ID of the drop down list, which is called list back color dot selected item dot text. So in this case, the color will be, or the selected color will be retrieved from the drop down list. It will be converted into color and will be used as a background color for the panel. So we're done from this. Now let us try that. Then we will back to the C# code. So now this is the application. If I select, for example, yellow, then I click update. As we can find, this is the background color for the panel will be yellow. If I selected the green, then it will be a green background color by using, of course, this line we did just now. Now after that, I want to display or to change the font name of the or display the text that will be written in the text field and displayed on the label on the greeting card. Because of that, I'm going to write text greeting, label greeting dot text is equal text greeting dot text. Now what's the meaning of that? If I back to the design, that's mean if the user enter any statement here, for example, happy birthday, and I click update, the same text will be displayed where? On this label that is called label greeting. Because of that, I said label greeting.text is equal text greeting.text. Now I want to change, now if the user selected the font from this drop down list, how can I apply it or change it with the label or use it with the label? So very simply here we can write label greeting dot font dot name equal. Now what's the font that will be used with the label that has been selected by the user from the drop down list? That is called list font name dot selected item dot text. Now what the user will select from this drop down list, it will be used with the label or applied into the label to change the font name of the label that will display the text from the, of course, text box. Now one more thing, the size of the font. The size of the font, it will be written here in this text box that is called, as we can find here, text font size. So for example, if the user entered the value 20, then the size of the font that will be displayed on the label will be a 20. But we have to make sure before we change the font size, the entered value is positive, is not 0, is not negative. Because of that, here I'm going to write if statement for the text or for the size font size value that will be converted into integer. So because of that, I will use int32 dot parse for the text font size dot text. If it's greater than 0, then we'll write a line here to change the font size of the label. So if this condition is true, now the value that will be entered in this text box will be converted into integer and compare it. If it's greater than 0, then change the font size on the label. Now, how to change the font size for the label? So I will say label dot font dot size equal what? Equal the font size that is written or entered into the text box that is called text font size. So I will say text font size dot text, but this one will not be accepted because now text font size dot text is a string value. We have to convert it into integer. Because of that, I'm going to use here int 32.parse that to convert from string into integer. Now, okay, it's converted into integer, but still this property font size cannot accept integer value. We have to convert it into units, or into font units. So we have to create a font unit from integer value. Now, how to create font unit from integer value? So here we will use font unit dot point for this integer value. So what's happening here? The value that we entered in the text box, it will be converted into integer. Then we could say it will be converted into font unit that will be accepted by the font size to change the font size of the label. So this line that we wrote here, it will be used. Let us write a comment here to be more readable. So I will say this line is to change the background color of the panel, of the panel, that we call it panel card. Now this line will be used to change the font name of the label on the panel. And this statement, if statement, if this condition is true, of course it will, let us say here actually this line will change the font size of the label. And this line that we wrote to will be used to display the entered greeting text on the label that of course we defined inside the panel. Now we changed the background, we changed the font, we changed the font size, we displayed the text. There are two more things. If the user selected double border style or solid border style, so how can we apply that on the panel? How to change the border of the panel? Now here in this case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a variable. I will call it selected style. Sorry, selected style. It's equal. Now selected style from where? From the radio button list that we call it list border dot selected item dot text. Now what the user selected, for example selected none or selected double or selected solid style, it will be saved where? In this label that is called selected style. Now I will check which style has been selected to apply it on the panel. Because of that, I'm going to use if statement. If the selected style is equal none. If none, in this case we have to change the border style for the panel. So I will say panel card dot border style is equal what? Is equal border style dot none. If the user selected none style, else if the selected style it's equal double, so in this case the panel card dot border style is equal border style dot what? Dot double that has been selected by the user. Else, there is no need to else if statement, just else. I could say the panel border dot border style it's equal border style. That means there is only the solid option in this case. So that's it. Now again, here the selected border value, it will be saved in the variable that is called selected style. Then I will check if the selected style is equal none. If the user selected none, then we'll apply none style, border style, where? On the panel. So that means no border will be displayed with the panel. Else, if the selected style by the user is double, if the user selected double, then in this case the double style will be applied on the panel or use it with the panel. Otherwise, if not double selected by the user, that means the user selected solid. Because of that, I'm going to apply solid with the as a border style for the panel. So here, of course, this statement will be used to change the border style for the panel. Now the last thing we will do to finish our code for this web application. Now if the user selected this checkbox, that means the user wants to display the default picture. If this checkbox is not selected, that means don't display the image on the greeting card. So again, here we need to write if statement to check that if the user wants the image or not, because the image now it's hidden. The visible value is false. If I want to display the image, we have to change the value of the visible property to true. Because of that, I will say if what's the name of the checkbox is check picture. If check picture dot checked, if the user selected the checkbox, check the checkbox, in this case display the image. So here I will say image default dot visible. So I will change the value of the visible to true to display the image. Now else so we'll say here image default dot visible is equal false. So if the user selected the checkbox, then the image it will be displayed on the panel. Otherwise, it will not be displayed by using the visible property. That's it. This is the code, and I will write a comment here to you to clarify what this code will do. Will display the image on the panel. Now this is the code that we need to write to, of course, get the options selected by the user and then apply it on the greeting card. So let us test that. Now I will save my work, then run the application. So I will select, for example, yellow background. The font I'm going to select Verdana. Let us say the size is 25, none border style. I don't want the picture. Then I will say, for example, happy birthday. Now when I click on the update button, so yellow is applied as a background, the text is happy birthday, the size is 25, and the font is Verdana. Now let us do update on these properties. For example, the font, we will make it Times New Roman. I will make it smaller, 20. I want to add solid style, and I want to add picture, and the statement is same, which is happy birthday. Now when I click on update, so look, now the font is Times New Roman, the size is smaller, 20. There is border, which is solid, and of course the picture has been displayed because I selected this checkbox. Let us do the last try to change the font to Tahoma and double style. Change the statement to, for example, Happy New Year. The image is already selected here. Add the default picture, then I click update. So here we have Happy New Year, and here we can find the border is double, and here the default picture has been displayed. So okay, it's perfect. This is it for today. Thank you so much for your listening, and I hope it will be useful for all of you. Thank you so much, and have a nice day.